Well, hello, everyone. How are y'all doing? I hope everybody's doing well, having a good day today. Thank you all for being with us today. I appreciate you so much. We've got some stuff to talk about. Let's see who we got in here with us. We got Miss Janice. We got Miss Rhonda. Hello, Reserve Glitchin'. How are you? Hi, Kathy. Hey, Brown Eyed Girls. How are you doing? Let's see. We got Nani. Hello, hello. There's Blue Eyed Jules. Hello, beautiful. We got Chit Chat, TJ. How are y'all? I hope everybody's having a good day. I guess that's hi, Sky Maiden. How are you? Well, hello, hello. Sorry about being late. I had it set for 4 o'clock. I was watching the girls, and my son had to go and do a game tonight, and he had to broadcast it. And my daughter in law wasn't back until just a little while ago. So I apologize. Hi, Charlene. How are you doing? So, anyways, Ziva, no. Tell you what, she does. She wants to stay up here with me, but if I shut that door, she goes insane. But anyway, so we've got a lot of other people going live right now, but we're going to go live and do our thing. Hi, Eve. Thanks for being here. So I appreciate you all being here right now. Let me go open that door and let that girl out. Hang on just a minute, guys. I'll be right back. Viva, what are you doing? Okay, guys, sorry about that. I opened the door and the other three dogs were right there at the door. So that's what she was going berserk over. Ah, if it ain't the kids, it's the dogs. Oh, okay, Charlene, I'm going to do it here while we're talking. I think I've got it figured out. I'm just going to work on it a little bit more and try some more. So hang tight. I'm glad you told me that so I can go here. And then it said I should be able to go here, but I still don't see a link. And every time I go to get a link, it's my, they just let my dog back in. But I'm still not seeing it. I thought maybe it'd be different if I was live. I don't know. I'm going to try one other thing while we're looking for it. Let me go over this way. Because last night I found it, a link, but I wasn't sure if it worked. I needed to be on a live to be able to see if it was going to work. So we're going to try this. Hello, Sharon. How are you? I hope you're well. Or Sherry, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Sharon. Thank you for joining us. Okay, let me go here. And memberships. I'm trying to see if I can get that link again. Let me copy this. Okay, let's see if this will work. And I'm going to put this in here. And paste. Oh, no. There we go. Okay, let's cross our fingers. Okay, see if that works. Okay, and let me know if it works, because that's what it's telling me to do. But I didn't know if it would work last night, so I was going to do it while we're live today. So someone check it out and see if they can do it and let me know. And if so, I will send that to my mods so that they always have it. Oh, but anyways, did anybody watch the Lore Lodge yesterday afternoon? I'm not going to play it, but I did write down a lot of things. Hi, Miss Sharon, how are you doing? I did write down a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk to y'all about and go over. So we can go over that. And then we're going to go over the Fox News interview and talk about the pictures that we were talking about yesterday. Charlene, it worked. Yay. Charlene, welcome. Welcome, welcome. We are so excited to have you. Yay. Let's welcome you to the South, Charlene.
Welcome. Welcome to the South. We break that good stuff out. We got enough to go around. So can I get it right and get down? Welcome to the South.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you. I'm glad for you to join us and be part of our little family over here. We're so excited to have you. Come. Okay, so yes, I'm so happy, and I didn't want to copy it and everything because I wasn't sure if that was the right link. So I thought, well, when we go live next, I'm going to do it on there. So glad that worked out. Now we know what to do, guys. So if I ever forget, I have to go to my studio and I can get it from there. So good deal. All righty. So last night, the Lore Lodge had Seth and Tony. And if you did not see it, guys, Seth is broken. It was all over his face. You could see it so plain. It absolutely broke my heart. He got so worked up over a few times that he had to step away. He had tears. It was very sad. Chat, of course, the trolls were out. It was horrific. It was just disgusting, some of the things that they were saying. But I wrote a bunch of things down because I wanted to go over these things with you because they stood out so dominant that once I got to thinking about it, I went back and I was like, let me listen to this again and make sure I understand what's being said here, because the other side says it all the time, that Seth was grooming Katie because he met her when she was very young. He explained it all to us last night. And I started writing that stuff down. Well, then they started talking about the CPS cases and everything. So we're going to go over all of that. Okay. One thing that did stand out to me, like huge, the biggest red flag of all, Katie's mother, she's an RSO. She is a registered offender. And it had to do with young children. Her sister also is registered. We learned last night that When her grandfather passed away, which was, I believe, 2016, I think it was 2019, something. Sebastian was young. She takes Sebastian and they go to the funeral. He calls to talk to Sebastian. Well, she was out to eat with her dad. Sebastian was with her great grandmother. He calls to talk to her, talk to him. And he's talking to Sebastian, asking who else there. Well, Katie's mother was there. Seth called, hung up. He called the local authorities and said, please go check on my son. Guys, I don't blame him. I would have done the same damn thing. So as time went on, they're in Tennessee, whatever. And he said they had found out through Katie's family members that Katie regularly calls on video chat, talks to her grandmother, and the grandmother will take the phone to Katie's mother so that Katie and Sebastian can talk to her on the video. There is supposed to be no contact with kids at all. And my thing is, if Katie was subject to that kind of life that her mother led, why would she want that for her son? Why would she even put her son in the way of contact with someone who has done bad things to kids? I couldn't believe it. Yes, Blue Eyes, they should have both been arrested. And Katie as well. She should have not had any rights to her child anymore. If you're going to allow that, and I understand that is his grandmother, but it was his grandmother that made the choice to become a registered offender. That was her choice. But Sebastian didn't have a choice. He probably didn't even understand what she had done. But even possibly up to the morning where he called on video to brag to family members, she was very careful with that. It makes me wonder if she was the one he was talking to on the video chat. I couldn't believe it. And I couldn't believe Katie would allow that to happen at all. We know that Sebastian was put into pull-ups at Katie and Chris's house. Seth himself has said that while he was there with him at his house, Sebastian never wore pull-ups. Well, Sebastian was taken back when Seth took him back one time. Sebastian went home in his underwear, not pull-ups. And it made Chris so mad that the next time Sebastian came to Seth, Chris gave Seth every pair of underwear that Sebastian owned. Who is so sick that would do that? Obviously, Mr. Chris. And Chris had told Blue Eyes, yes, she says, Chris told me he wore them only at Seth's. What, the pull-ups or the underwear? Blue Eyes. Wasn't it just underwear only at Seth's? I couldn't believe he did that. I mean, what do there's no attempt made pull-ups. He only wore pull-ups at Seth's, is what he told her. You can't believe this man at all. You can't believe him at all. It's absolutely disgusting because what if you had a child that had an issue like that? At that age, most young men are very aware that they need to go to the restroom. If there is issues happening, find out the cause of it. What would be the cause? They didn't make any attempt. They made no attempt whatsoever to try to help him to get him out of the pull-ups at their home. Now, Tony used a reference as if you rescue a stray, say a dog or a puppy, you rescue one. And that dog or puppy had previously been beaten, and you make a fast movement towards that animal, that dog, what are they going to do? Of course, one of the Aidens said flinch and back away. The other one said pee. He said exactly. And that's an analogy that would show Sebastian is having issues because he is being abused, basically. And he's scared. Of course, they made it out like Tony is saying Sebastian is a dog, an animal. It's not what was said. So if you hear that, just know. Yes, Chris told him, figure out what you need to do. Figure it out. They had no efforts being made to help Sebastian get to the point where he did not need those. Another thing that got me was the whole calling Seth a pedo because he was grooming Katie. Well, Seth explained it all to us. Katie was babysitting when she was around 12. The kids that she babysat belonged to Seth's, at the time, fiance, her aunt and uncle. Seth knew them well. He would go and take over after he got off work, watching the boys. I think he said boys, watching the kids until the parents got there so that the babysitter could go home. That's how he met Katie. Nothing more. He would get there. He said most of the times they start playing video games. Katie would leave. When Katie turned 18, she was still living at her home. Her dad's, I believe. Shortly after she turned 18, she moved in with Seth's ex-fiance's aunt and uncle's house with them. Seth at that time was no longer engaged. That had been called off, but he was still living there. He was staying with them as well, paying them rent to have a room. Katie started making, flirting with Seth, but Seth did not let anything happen because at the time, Katie had a boyfriend. But Seth also told us Katie was also seeing a married man as well at the same time. Before Katie was 19, she was no longer seeing the boyfriend or anyone else. Seth was single. They got together. Then Sebastian came along. They're married. All the things happened. It was nothing like the other side has made it out to be. They have it absolutely so disgusting and turned around. And they said, Seth himself admitted last night that Katie was 12. Well, yeah, he admitted she was 12 when he first met her. Had nothing else happened when she was 12 at all, not one thing happened at all until she was over or a little over 18. But they're running with it because Seth said she was 12. I can't believe these people. They're absolutely disgusting. They don't want to hear everything. They don't want to consider that what Seth is actually saying is the God's honest truth. Not at all. Now, this is the part that if you write it down and you look at it, is very telling. September of 2022, they signed on their house that they're currently own. So they move in late September. November of that month was a CPS case. That time is the first conversation they had with Seth about taking Sebastian to go live with him. He started looking into the school situation. The online schooling was like a 6-month waiting list. So while they're waiting to get that taken care of, things started improving with Sebastian. Then November of 2024 is a CPS case once more. That is when they contacted Seth about putting Sebastian in a home of some sorts because they were done. But we learned last night, November of 2024, that same month that the CPS case came out and that they decided we're going to put him in a home, is the same time Christopher was ordered by the court to have to take parenting classes for him to be able to file for custody of his daughter. And then, as we know, they had made the decision the first of the year of 2024. No, not November. It was November of 2023. Sorry, I just said 2024. But the first of the year of 2024, they've made the decision that they're not going to put him in a home. Sebastian was approved. He would be starting school there in Clarksville at the beginning of the school year. Let him finish out the year at his school so that there was not a hard transfer. It wasn't hard for him to change over and start doing things differently. Try to keep things as calm as possible and make the transition easier for Sebastian. And then the 26th of February, just 3 months prior to Sebastian going to live with his father, he disappears. There's an open CPS case that was only open weeks before he went missing. There is a lot in this little part, in this timeline, starting September 2022, November 2023 to the first part of 2024. It's very telling. He wanted Faith. Yeah, he wanted custody of Faith so bad. He was pissed off and angry about the fact he was supposed to take parenting classes. He was above that. And if you remember and recall, I believe it was on Smiley's channel where he talked about, let me give you a little parenting advice on how to handle your children. You throw their things in a trash bag and make them take it to the road. Same time he told us he whacked Sebastian with the belt. And yet he was the one that had to take parenting classes. The same man that wanted this child not to ever be born. This is the same person. The common denominator is Chris. The nightmare his wife had when he beat her to a pulp and left her for dead. The common denominator there was Mr. Chris. The nightmare he put Nina and her children through, the common denominator is Mr. Chris. The CPS cases, Sebastian needs to go live with his dad. Let's put him in a home that children have died because of the methods used in this home. The common denominator is Mr. Chris. So how can we not sit here and wonder if Mr. Chris might be the common denominator when it comes to Sebastian, poof, disappearing? It's unreal when all of that was put out in a timeline, a sequence of events, and Tony himself said they have every date of the CPS. They have it down into a timeline of everything, every little thing. And he said, when you stop and you look at that timeline, it makes everything fall into place and make sense. I can't imagine what Sebastian's life was like in that home. But to have a 15-year-old boy that starts going backwards, starts digressing, and has to wear pull-ups to school. Guys, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible to think that even though the mother and the stepfather knew there's issues happening, something is happening because CPS is getting called out on a regular basis, it seems. So they need to help fix it. Help reassure him. It's going to be okay. We're all going to make it through this. We're going to find a good solution for all of us. That wasn't obviously what was happening because every one of his underwear were given away to his father because he didn't need pull-ups there because they worked on it. Him and his father worked together to talk about some things and to learn how to handle himself. I honestly see a common denominator for everything going wrong in this child's life, and it's Mr. Chris. But I can't put all the blame on just Mr. Chris, you see, because KK allowed it to happen. She was allowing it to affect her child. She didn't stop it. She didn't move and leave and go away. She didn't. It continued. And then one day he was gone. Gone as if he didn't exist anymore, because he was never, ever, ever seen walking away. We know there's no digital footprint anywhere that he's left that home. And the common denominator when it comes to knowing who was where and what time everybody was at their place on that very important timeline, Mr. Chris is the only one that won't say. He was in Memphis. They were on a phone call. He hasn't disputed the fact that his people at his work have said, oh, he was here, but it wasn't that early in the morning. He was not in the crane that early in the morning. He was cranky. He was just outright rude, and we made him go home. But he never told his friends, his work, his team members, whatever you want to call them. None of them knew Sebastian was missing. He didn't say anything. All the questions that we sit here and talk about all the time, the common denominator seems to be Mr. Chris. It's insane and it's crazy. We're going to listen now, or we've already listened to it, but what we're going to do now, I'm going to play the Fox News interview. I want y'all to look real close at the pictures, because the family was asked to give 5 pictures. Give them 5 pictures. They gave 4 pictures in one video. Watch it real close. And then we're going to talk about those pictures. And I have them zoomed in so y'all can all see. But while we're playing this, pay attention to what's being put up there. And it's not very long, so it won't take no time. So here we go. Let's get this shared. And this is the one that, if you remember, we talked about her face being puffy and swollen, as if she was hit upside the face. But here we go.
So this morning, the search for a missing autistic teen, gone for more than a month now, growing more frantic. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has not been seen since he left his Tennessee bedroom, barefoot with a flashlight. Joining us now, Sebastian's parents, Katie and Chris Proudfoot. Katie and Chris, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. So, Ms. Proudfoot, you put him to bed. You heard some noises in there. You told him to knock it off. You got up the next morning, and you haven't seen him since. Where do you think your son is right now?
Honestly, we don't know where he is. But now we haven't found any substantial evidence to locate where he's been or where he went. That's why we're pleading for help for anyone out there that might know something or see something that could help us find him.
Ms. Proudfoot, was Sebastian a runner? Did he have a history of running away from school or running away from home anytime before?
No, he didn't have a history of running.
Mr. Proudfoot, you're about, I think, 3 hours away, and then you got the call about what happened and you made your way home. You've agreed to a polygraph. You haven't been ruled as a suspect. What do you make of some of the criticism of some people online, some critics saying that they think that you were involved?
It's their personal opinion. It's sad that people have resorted to this kind of rhetoric and verbiage and harassment. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's their opinion, but the truth will come out. And then when it does, everybody will finally have their answers.
Ms. Prophet, did your son Sebastian have any friends that you think, did he have a cell phone? Had he made any type of contact?
Not that we know of.
Ms. Prophet, you did decide to leave the home and you went to go see your husband, which I said is about 3 hours away. And some people have said that, you know, you have an autistic son who's missing. Why would you leave the home? Can you give us some insight on why?
There are a few reasons. We are posting flyers every direction we can, but at the same time, there were quite a bit of people that were, you know, sending some very threatening and hateful messages to us. They're following us. They're driving past our house all hours of day and night, disturbing the neighborhood. And the neighborhood is very upset, concerned, and people are worried about their safety at this point. So one of the reasons that I did that is in the hopes that if we left for a couple of days, that it might calm that down and give our neighbors a little bit of reprieve as well.
A quick follow-up, Mrs. Proudfoot. His biological father has said that he doesn't believe that he would have been barefoot because of the traumatic experience that he had stepping in a pile of ants. But you think he left barefoot. Why are you so confident that he didn't have any shoes on or anything like that?
Because all of his
shoes have been accounted for. As far as
Notice he said Mrs. Proudfoot. Why would he be without his shoes? Why do you say that? And of course, Mr. Chris has to pipe up because he can't let her answer everything.
No, all of our shoes have been accounted for, mine and my wife's at this point. So, I mean, there is no other answer as to what he would have been wearing at this point.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much for joining us on the program. Now, our number one concern is to get Sebastian home back to y'all. We're going to put the number up for anyone that has any information on if you've seen Sebastian. Call 1-800-TDI. That's the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. TDI Find. We'll put up the timeline. If you were in any of these areas, we hope that you'll reach out to the number. Katie and Chris, thanks so much for joining our program this morning.
So, guys, I know y'all noticed pictures. And let me take this banner off. We'll put that one up. Let's go here. Now, here we go. We saw this picture. We know that's Sebastian. We saw the video part with his green tea. We know that's him. We see Katie and Chris here. We see Sebastian by his mother. We see Chris's daughter with him. Folks, with these three pictures here, how are we supposed to recognize Sebastian off of this picture today? Why would they put this picture up? This picture, a little closer. This one, he's what, 7? He's probably about what, 5? These three pictures. Now, we go to this picture. How is anyone supposed to recognize that the one to the left of Cat in the Hat is Sebastian? How are we supposed to recognize him from this picture? How does this help the public recognize Sebastian today, seeing this picture? Now, how in the hell are we supposed to identify and recognize Sebastian from this picture when he's not even in the picture? And I say this because you recognize these three kids being close to the same height, within the same, just a few inches. Let's go back here. Do you recognize Cat in the Hat and the two boys on the end as being close to the same height? They are in this picture, but Sebastian is not. So how are we supposed to look at this picture and know who to look for? Because he's not even in this picture. If anyone wants to argue with me from anywhere at any time, I will take it up gladly. Because there's no way you can tell me that these pictures that they put on a national television show for everybody around the world to recognize this young man. How are we supposed to recognize him? Possibly there, not there. No way can you recognize him today from this, nor this, because this is the man we're looking for today. How in the hell would a parent who wants their son found put pictures like this up on a national news show? I cannot believe it. It's absolutely disgusting. And to have this picture right here added when their son's not even in the picture. What is their purpose other than they don't want him recognized? They don't want him found. End of story. There's nothing else to it. It makes me so mad and so angry because if a child's missing, whatever you put out is what people are going to look for. And to have a picture with not even your son in it speaks volumes to people who know this case. But those three young boys that were in the one picture where Sebastian was not even in helps him in no way at all. The picture of him with his mom and his stepdad and his stepsister, it won't help him being found today. Why would someone do that? Why would a mother allow that when she herself sat there hours before he disappeared and took 2 pictures of him? And she's going to put a picture up on national news without her son even in it. You tell me that she wants him found, and I'll argue with you about it because that is so obvious. She doesn't. There's no way possible. It makes me so angry to hear people defend her. Defend a mother who doesn't even have the picture of her son up there in one of those pictures. What is there to defend? She has 2 pictures of what he would look like, very close to what he would look like right now, today. And yet we haven't seen those. we see all these young pictures of him. I can't understand it at all. A mother who allows her child to speak and sit in the same room with a person who has an addiction to doing things to children, did the things to her own daughter, and her daughter is going to be okay with her son being with that person. Tell me she's a good mother, because I'll call you a liar. Those are not good mother qualities. A mother who wants her son to be found, a mother who desperately loves her son and would do anything and everything possible to get her son back, would be putting the last 2 pictures she took of him up on every poster and flyer, every TV station, everywhere. A mother would not put a picture up and her child not even be in it. Make that make sense, because it doesn't. And to hear Seth last night that kept saying, I want to talk about Sebastian. He wanted nothing but to talk about Sebastian. But they were trying their best to clear up some of the rumors. And it did no good whatsoever, because the other side praise Katie for being a great mother. They praise her so much. They praise Christopher so much, when the two are nothing but trash in my eyes. And I have receipts to back that up. I can't, no matter how hard I try to have sympathy for her, I just can't. I can't when I find out you allowed your son to be with your mother, the person that did things to you, Katie. It's not good to leave your child with that same person. She may be out of jail and served her time, but people like that are not changed. There is no cure for that. You don't leave your child with that person that abused you and then get mad because his father calls the police to go and check on him. Sorry about your bad luck. I would have flown my ass over there and picked my son up and took him, and you wouldn't have never had him again. I promise you that. You're lucky. You're lucky you got to keep him after that. And her own family members, not just one, but several, have spoken up, told law enforcement all about the times that it happens like that, about the contact that she has with him. And the pictures, to put a person in front of a camera on national TV to plead for her son, and she's going to put a picture up that her son's not even in. It's unexcusable. Unexcusable. And I just hope and pray for Sebastian's sake that justice is coming, and it's coming fast. And Katie and Chris are the common denominator in this whole story. Mr. Chris has been the common denominator out of several of his marriages and children involved. And Katie is a common denominator for letting things happen to her son and not trying to help him and get him away from the situation. So, yeah, if anybody wants to come up against me, come on, because I'm telling you right now, there are receipts. And it doesn't look good for her. It's absolutely disgusting. It's horrible. And I'm starting to understand what Seth meant by, if you could read what is in these reports, it would keep you up at night. I couldn't get him off of my mind all night and all day today. That poor child kept trying to reach out. And Mr. Chris would always find a way to get out of it. His mother, who caused such a ruckus at the last meeting with the parents, is the person that was last with him in the house when he disappeared. A common denominator. And there is nothing they can do to change it, because the truth does not change. Just their lying ass stories that they continue to put out are the only thing that is changing in this whole situation. And they have people that try their best to put out distractions, to make everything look as if it's a certain way. But guess what? You can't change it, because it's the truth. And I am so sad for Seth Rogers. My heart breaks for him. I sent a message. Justin had been telling me how bad Seth was looking. And when I saw him last night, I sent Justin a message and said, "Oh my God, he's so broken." Justin said, "He's worn out." He said, "I told you. I saw myself over the 2 years that I had such deep, dark depression after I lost my son. I could see it in his eyes. He was broken. We don't even see the common denominators in this story, which are Katie and Chris Proudfoot. But yet they want to tell us how broken they are. But we don't see it because they don't do interviews. Justin on his show counted up 11 interviews between Katie and Chris. 80 interviews for Seth. The common denominators are screwing with this whole story that they wanted to create and put out there, thinking we're all so ignorant and so stupid, we're going to believe every word they say. We're not going to question the fact that their story continuously changed. We're not going to question the fact that there were CPS cases. We're not going to question why CPS knew them so well. We're not going to question the fact that Sebastian left his home without ever being seen. Nowhere on any camera. The dogs didn't track. Oh, yeah, they did. Mr. Chris said they did. Well, I'm going to believe the law enforcement. We're supposed to not question those things. We're just supposed to believe them. I think we all kind of believed them for about a day or two. And then things didn't add up. They didn't add up. It's because there's two common denominators that expect us all to be ignorant and never question them at all. But I question them. I've already said I've got hard questions. I still have some hard questions I hadn't even put out here. And Mr. Chris would never answer them. I'm almost going to bet y'all $100 he wouldn't. And yet they're going to wreak havoc on Bullhorn Betty for putting up flyers and posters and those kind of things. Twist it and turn it around so they're people in their neighborhoods, people they vacation with, people that they are good friends with, people they go to church with, are all going to back them and their story up in a court of law, whether it be the bailiff, whether it be the judge, whether it be the sheriff, whether it be all the things. Because they run the town, right? And heaven forbid Betty might put up a poster or a flyer with Sebastian's face on it that you could actually identify him. Oh my God. Please forgive her for doing that, right? Maybe we should have just took a random family picture that we find at the flea market or something. Put it on a poster and put it up, and they would gladly put that up in their front yard because they put those kind of pictures up on national TV. And yet, we're not supposed to question it. We're not supposed to question anything. But here we are. Because we're here for Sebastian. We don't care if his mother and stepfather end up in jail, locked up for years, because if they have done something to that young man, they deserve it. If his father ended up being the one to do it, then he would be the one to deserve it. But I'm telling you, Seth has done nothing wrong. Seth hasn't tried to give bogus stories. We've learned more about Sebastian from Seth himself. All we've learned is negative things from his mother and his stepfather. All the bad. How bad he danced, how bad his breath smells, how bad he ate and smacked and chewed and made a mess. And why do you have to do that to a young man who has no way to defend himself? When asked to identify markings, anything to help people recognize Sebastian, his mother says, well, he likes shiny things. What if there's nothing shiny? Why are you going to say that? Why are you? It's the same question. Why? Why are you going to do that? Why are you going to say that? Why are you going to put a picture up on national TV that's not even got your son in it? It's so obvious, folks. It is so obvious. And it is so aggravating. When asked to give 5 pictures, for those of you just coming in, Fox News, there was 5 pictures that was requested. They put this picture in. They put this video in of him where he's saying green tea. They put this in there when he's about maybe 5 years old. They put this picture, that's Sebastian to the left of Cat in the Hat. Not sure how we're supposed to identify him, but that's him. They put this picture that doesn't even have Sebastian in this photo. That's not Sebastian. That's the other 3 boys in this picture. Not Sebastian at all. Because this is who we're looking for. We're not going to find him by seeing this picture. We're not going to find him by seeing this picture. And we sure as hell are not going to find him looking at this picture, because he's not even in it. But folks, that was his mother and his stepfather. They were asked to give pictures. They gave them pictures. I don't understand. I don't get it. I will never understand. Blue Eyes, you shouldn't have done that. Thank you so much. You sweet girl, thank you. If y'all were gifted a membership from our beautiful Blue Eyes, please tell her thank you so much. We appreciate her. And let's welcome everybody to the South.
Welcome, welcome to the South. We break that good stuff out. We got enough to go around. So can I get it right and get down? Welcome to the South.
Thank you, Blue Eyes. Appreciate you, and welcome everybody. And if anybody is looking for the membership for iPhone link, we've got it figured out. Here you go. Oh, guys. It's so aggravating when you have a timeline that shows starting September of 2022, where there's a CPS case and a call made to his father saying, you have to take him. Then you have November of 2023, where you get the dad gets another call. We're going to put him in a home. We find out there's another CPS case that month. We find out Mr. Chris had to take parenting classes to get custody, even apply for custody of his daughter that same month. There's a common denominator, folks. Tam, glad for you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. I so appreciate you. Love you. Do you want me to play the song for you so you can have it by yourself? I will. Yay, good. I'm glad we got that figured out. Oh. But anyways, yeah, the classes didn't work, did they, Holly? There's a common denominator, guys. November of 2023. Chris has to take parenting classes. A CPS case was opened, and Seth got the call, we're going to put him in a home. In the home they were going to put him in, children were dying from the behavior used at that place. Seth said, no, hold on. Let's get him through the end of the school. They make those arrangements. And in January, another CPS case. And the end of February comes along, 3 months shy of Sebastian going to his dad's, a place where he's happy, didn't need his pull-ups because he didn't have issues there. The abuse was not at his father's home. It's plain as day, all of it. It's here, right in front of us. And to see the Fox interview and the pictures that were used, there's no way to identify Sebastian. If you were to look at all of those pictures today and you walked out and thought maybe you saw Sebastian, it would be a young kid, because you wouldn't be looking for a young man that's almost as tall as his mother. They didn't want him found. They don't want him found. The story does not make any sense to anyone. The lies they keep telling over and over and over again is obvious. There is a common denominator, and that is Mr. Chris. And KK herself allows it to continue. There's nothing else that needs to be said other than, where is Sebastian? They don't want us to know, because I'm afraid he will be able to tell us a story of what happened to him. And friends, don't listen to the other side. They've created a whole scenario that is insanely stupid. But that's what they want. That's what gets them all the views, all the money coming in, all the things. Just don't pay them no attention. Because the only important thing is, where is Sebastian? And I pray that one day those two will end up in custody and lectured and questioned to the point they finally tell us where Sebastian is. And in the meantime, I want to ask each and every one of you to please keep his father in your prayers, because that man is so broken. I hadn't seen that look in a long time. It's a very dark place. It's a place of mourning your child because you haven't seen him in almost a year. I remember that look. I looked the same way. My eyes were constantly swollen. Seth is broken, and they want to tear him apart as much as they possibly can. So they make up things that are lies. But friends, there's truth. And the truth doesn't look good for his mother and his stepfather. So with that, I'm going to tell everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for coming in and listening. My heart has been hurting since last night. And I just didn't rest easy. All day today, I kept thinking about it. The timeline, the timing of everything. It's all right there. And if Tony and Seth has that timeline, you know the police department has that timeline. They know for a fact she allowed her son to be in the same room with and left him with a person that hurts children. She allows the video calls. It's absolutely disgusting. She was in no way a loving, protective mother. It's all coming to light. It's all right in front of us, folks. And unfortunately, it's worse than I ever thought it really was. And it breaks my heart because Sebastian is the one that has had to pay the price. Sebastian is the one, not Katie and Chris. They're just out there living their lives, motorcycle shopping and vacationing. His father's paying a price because they can't tell, I'm afraid. Just pray, because together we're all going to get through it. We're all going to make it until there's justice for Sebastian, because this child deserves justice. He deserves to know that there are people out there that really care about him. He deserves to know that we see what he's had to deal with. He needs to know he was right by telling. He needs to know he has his own army behind him that will be here for him. Oh, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all. And the green hearts is nothing but love. And one day, if not already, Sebastian will know. He will. We need justice for him. And if that causes bad for Katie and Chris, so be it. It was their choice. So, guys, I'm going to let y'all get out of here. I know Josh and Justin will be going live tonight talking about Michael Monkey Vaughn. Let's try to go support them. It'll be, I think it's on Justin's channel, but let's support them. Because little Michael, he needs to have his justice. His mother is not well. And I'm not 100% for sure, but I believe it is fatal for her. She deserves some justice as well. So let's go put some blue hearts out on Justin's channel for him. Let's always stay true to Sebastian. Be a support for Seth. And we're going to get the justice that he deserves. We're going to see it happen. I believe it. It's too obvious. So anyways, with that, guys, I'll be back tomorrow. And I thank y'all. If you don't mind, hit that thumbs up. Come back and visit with us tomorrow. We would love to have you all back. And welcome to our new lollipops. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you to everyone. Yes. Oh, Tam, same here. That dark road, you knew. I'm sure you were like me when you saw Seth last night. I saw that. I was in that place. I was there. I had that swollen, puffy eyes and face. Because the tears for the first couple of years that were cried hard every single day. And I knew where my son was. I couldn't imagine Seth not knowing. It's horrible. It's a horrible place to be. But anyways, guys, I'm going to let y'all get off of here. Keep praying. We're going to do this. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Tam. Every day something tears me up still to this day. Yep. But I love you guys. Y'all are amazing. Y'all make a difference. Thank y'all for just being who you are. Love and hugs, everybody. See y'all tomorrow.